What's up, marker heads? It's Karen from Art by Karen and Haley. I've got a new drawing to show you today. This is Butterfree and Sawsbuck. This picture, I really like the way that the lighting turned out, but I'm not totally happy with the color scheme. I did this a while ago for some Pokemon cards. I think I posted the artwork in December on YouTube or on DeviantArt. But I finally am uploading the video, and I would have uploaded this on Monday, on Memorial Day, but ever since Sunday, I've been having contractions, so they've been pretty uncomfortable. It's been kind of hard to record stuff, and it's also been kind of hectic because they started out, you know, pretty far apart, and then they got like 2 to 5 minutes apart. We were at the hospital. They were pretty uncomfortable. I could still talk through them, and I wasn't having anything changing. So they sent me home because they weren't strong enough contractions to make any progress. So I've been at home, I've been having contractions, and they haven't been getting stronger, but they also haven't been dying down. And I went to the doctor yesterday to see if I'd been progressing, and I only progressed a little tiny bit, so they're not really doing anything. So my husband and I have been going out for walks as much as possible to help move things along, which is what my doctor recommended, and we spent a lot of time at the park in the town that my parents live in called Dallas, Oregon, and there's an arboretum there, so we got to walk around the paths, and it's really nice there. And I didn't really know how large the arboretum was. I've gone to that park so many times, but the arboretum's a lot bigger than I thought it was. And we also went to Basket Slough, which is a waterfowl preserve, and we got to see some ducks and geese and stuff like that. And then we went up into the woodland section and walked around up there. We saw some birds, and it was really pretty. Getting there. We'll see when he's born, but labor's been pretty slow. It's not really even labor, it's like pre-labor. But anyway, I have some more Q&A questions, but I thought I would tell you guys kind of what's going on, and give you a heads up that this next couple weeks are going to be pretty crazy for me, so you may not hear from me for a couple weeks, but things are starting to happen slowly, and I'm getting this video pumped out. So let's jump into the Q&A questions. If you guys have questions, still feel free to post them. If you ask questions that are already in my FAQ, I won't answer them because I don't have time to answer them, because they've already been answered. But if you have a question that hasn't been answered in a previous Q&A question, or has not been answered in my FAQ, please feel free to ask. My 64th question comes from Tegina911, who asks, what is your favorite fantasy or mythological creature, or creatures? My favorite fantasy creatures that aren't my own, I really like gryphons. I really like gryphons. Like, I love them so much. They're so pretty, and I like birds, and I like feline creatures, and I really like them. I also really like werewolves. I don't know if that's a fantasy creature. It seems more like a monster, but I don't know. I just think they're really cool. And I really like dragons, of course, and the typical Pegasuses and unicorns. But and I know of a lot of different mythological creatures, but I really like those the most. But my favorite ones to draw are my own creations, I guess. I have a lot of my own creatures,
Um, and I really prefer to draw my own creations over more typical things. But if you want to know like fantasy creatures that are well known, I guess gryphons would be my favorite kind.
My 65th question comes from KaitlynDrawsManga, who asks, why do you believe people become artists, and why did you become an artist and decide to make it your profession or hobby? I personally think every artist has a different reason why they were drawn to art. Pardon the pun. Some people might have had a hard time expressing themselves in words or music or other ways, so they turned to artwork. Some people could have been inspired by maybe a family member or a beautiful work of art. And some people, most people who are into art just seem to have found that it's just what they're best at doing. I have already answered the second part of this question before, but to sum it up, I've always loved to draw more than any other activity, I guess. When I was a kid, my dad explained to me how an animated movie was made by artists who drew hundreds of thousands of pictures, which turned into the final film. And I was amazed that art could do something like that, so I really started to get serious about being an artist when I was around 13 or 14. And I decided that I wanted to focus on being an illustrator around 3 or 4 years ago. So I hope that answers your question, because that's really all I could think of. My 66th question comes from the End of Your Road, who asks, which set of Copic markers do you use the most? I get this question quite a lot, but the truth is I collected my markers a few at a time. I didn't go out and buy a pre-packaged set all at once because I couldn't afford to do something like that. They're really expensive in the large sets, so instead I picked out colors that I felt I would use, or I was given Copics a few at a time as gifts. I was given 2 sets from my dad. They're the original style Copics in the 12 basic color set, and the Copic Sketch Marker EX set 3. And he'd given me these after I'd already started collecting Copic markers. I don't really keep track of how much I use these 2 sets as separate sets. They're just part of my collection. They're really not sets in my mind, I guess. I have a list on my DeviantArt of all of my markers. I have a color swatch page that you can look at. So if you look in the description of this video, you can click on the link to see it, to kind of get an idea of what colors I have. The markers that I own refills for are generally the colors I use the most often, and I do have which markers I have refills for listed on that DeviantArt posting. So if you want to use my collection as a base, you can go right ahead. But what I like doesn't always work for everyone, so all in all, instead of buying a set, I recommend choosing colors you know you would use. That way, if you end up using less than the 72 marker size sets, you're saving money, and you're getting markers that you know you'll want. Because when I looked at getting markers, I did look at the sets, and I thought, you know, I want to use some of these markers, but I also want to use markers from this set. And I didn't see the point in buying both sets, just to get some of the markers from one and some of the markers from the other. So it's a lot easier to just buy them a few at a time, and it's a lot cheaper too. So I would recommend trying to collect your markers on your own instead of getting sets. I didn't mention in the beginning of this video, but I'm doing a poll on my Facebook, which I mentioned in the last video probably, but it's about which series I should do a drawing from in July. So right now I'm waiting for people to vote on which series I should do a drawing from, and then we'll be voting on which character from that series I'll be doing a picture of. So head on over to my Facebook, which is Art by Haley, and leave your vote. And I will keep you guys updated with how things are going. I'm still working on my commissions and things like that. So I've been trying to stay away from the internet so I don't get distracted, because I'm really easily distracted. And anyway, I hope you guys like the drawing, and I will see you guys later.